on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to the Bristol Motor Speedway. We are live here, and if you notice, it's a little bit dirtier than usual. We've got these cars running on the dirt, just like the NASCAR Cup Series is this weekend. And we're watching right now Rooster Rod and put some qualifying laps down. Got super close to that wall. Got to try to avoid that so that the lap will count. But these guys are going to have it in for them. We're in for an absolute treat. These drivers are in for a handful. You see right now, Rooster sitting right up next to the top of the track. We'll look at Christian Ruse. Josh Conover, the dirt ringer. He's ripping it down there on the bottom, getting super sideways there. A little bit too much. Smacks that inside wall there. Sits on the pole right now, though. Won't have to go to a backup car, even with that bit of contact. So, Kyle Westwood, that Kodak film Toyota Camry. He's going to get up to third place, sideways down the back straightaway, pointed towards the wall. That's never a good feeling in a stock car, but a little bit easier to recover here at the dirt track of Bristol. Nick Gilles getting out onto the racetrack in that Hendrick Carr Chevrolet. It's another kind of dirt ringer here. He was confident coming up into this one, and seems to be planted firm there on the racetrack there on his first lap. Gets up to second place, spins it on the second lap, so he's not going to be able to improve. But second place for Nick Gilles. That Sisler's going to be the last one to get out onto the racetrack here. And of course, we are going to have a couple of interviews from last week. Rick Helms got the win at Richmond in dominating fashion. Apologies for not being able to get that one live for you race fans, but we're here live, ready to rock and rumble at Bristol for the dirt half mile. A little bit different format for the feature event here today. We're going to have a couple of heats to determine the inside and outside lineup. Those will be 20 laps apiece. Then we come back for a 100 lap feature here in Bristol. You watch Matt Sisler come around to complete his lap. About 30 seconds left in qualifying. Doesn't look like anybody else is going to be able to get onto the track. Sisler gets up to P9. So that should do it here for qualifying. Go ahead and get you our heat race number 1 grid. Gonna have Josh Conover, Garrett Kinder, Cody McFadden, Rick Helms, Matt Sisler, Chris Papa, and Terry Atwood here in heat race number 1. It's gonna be 20 laps. Figure out the starting lineup of the inside lane. Well, since your race winner's up in the first heat, we're not going to talk to him first, or talking about from last week. Let's go ahead and bring in Kyle Westwood up into the booth. Kyle Westwood, how you doing today?
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad. Doing pretty good here. Excited to watch these guys roll off for heat race number 1 here in Bristol. But we've got a little bit to talk about from last week. You pulled off a 3rd place finish.
Yeah, last week was fun. I got schooled by someone double my age and definitely learned a few lessons of what not to do.
Yeah, Rick's definitely good on those short tracks, and you kind of mentioned tonight, talked with him a little bit before the race. He's run dirt before. It's been about 30 years, but he's done it before.
Yeah, I remember when used to run with him a few seasons ago, and I remember him sharing pictures and sharing some stories about some of the guys that he used to race against and some of the cars that he used to race. And dude's lived a pretty fun life, it seems.
Yeah, but I mean, you still ran a pretty strong race at Richmond. Obviously, we can. I suppose, yeah, you're not in this heat. I was about to try to hurry it up, but yeah, we got.
All right, we're good.
Yeah, you ran a strong race. I don't know a whole heck of a lot about what happened outside of Rick Helms just laying it down. Is there anybody you want to thank for such a strong run?
Well, I want to thank Rick, first of all, for racing me clean when we did get side by side. It didn't last long, but he, once he did get next to me, he passed me with ease, and he was gone, like off into the sunset. So he ran a great race. I want to thank him for racing me clean. I want to thank Christian, Rooster, everybody else who helps run this league for letting me race with them on Fridays. And, of course, I want to thank you for putting on a great show up in the booth.
Well, awesome stuff. I appreciate that. We didn't have a show last week, so I'll try to...
Yeah, we'll make up for it this week.
Yeah, we'll try to make up for it. What are you expected to see here in heat race number 1?
I'm not sure. Unfortunately, I got in here a little late, so I'm kind of new to this, just like anybody else tuning in. But I think we're gonna get some good side-by-side racing here while the track is in a clean state like it is. But once it gets slick and kind of worn out, that's when I think we're gonna see it get a little hairy, maybe a little single file. But I think right now we'll see some good racing.
Yeah, hopefully some good racing coming our way as the green flag is out. We appreciate you, Kyle, for joining us up in here before the first heat race. We'll get you set back here, but look at the top
Appreciate
run
it.
there.
Thanks, man.
Garrett Kinder, thank you, Kyle. It's Kyle Westwood, podium finisher from last week, but the action heating up here already. Josh Conover able to get back around Garrett Kinder after Kinder with a super strong start. Towards the back of the pack, Terry Atwood here. Used to seeing him up into the top 3, but this dirt might be a little bit of a tougher animal for him, or maybe he's just trying to keep that car clean. Matt Sisler chasing down Rick Helms. Rick sits in 5th place. We mentioned talking to Kyle that Rick ran dirt races back in the day, but it has probably been a good 30-some years since he's been on the dirt in real life. Been a sim racer for 10 years, but dirt racing in these next-gen cars, new for everybody, and Rick Helms is no different. Chris Papa coming back out here in that number 1 first page machine. Sitting in 4th place. Trying to get the ticker up here. It doesn't always like to play with the heat races too well, so we can see the laps to go, but the groups are not scrolling by. We've got Josh Conover leading over Garrett Kinder, Cody McFadden, Chris Papa, Rick Helms, Matt Sisler, and Terry Atwood here in the first heat race. We'll try to go ahead and get a hold of Rooster Rodden before he jumps up into the car for the heat race, but it's a busy man. As you see Terry Atwood get up into the wall. Tough deal for him to start the heat race. He's already almost half a lap down to Josh Conover. That's Swindell Speed Lab. You know he's going to be quick on dirt, but Garrett Kinder is not letting him get away. These guys in the first heat race are going to have a bit of an advantage being able to run everywhere that they want. This track's not going to be too worn down. Just sit right up on the nose here, and you see just how sideways these cars get. This is not what we're used to seeing out of these next-gen cars. They do not usually have this sort of slip angle. Here comes Garrett Kinder trying to work the bottom side and get closer and closer to Conover to take away heat race number 1. 13 laps to go. Your order is Conover, Kinder, Papa, McFadden, and Helms in the top 5. Kinder with a strong run up top. He's going to try to get another run here. Maybe pull off a slider as Conover gets way wide. Kinder gets within a car length. About a car length and a half separating these two. Garrett Kinder runs about half a lane lower. Conover all the way up to the top side, rolling the cushion. Josh Conover seems virtually flawless in that car right now, but he's got Garrett Kinder all over him, just about 2 car lengths behind, halfway through heat race number 1. Chris Papa sits about 3 seconds behind these drivers. Another second and a half back to Cody McFadden, Rick Helms, Matt Sisler, and Terry Atwood is just having a tough heat race number 1 so far. Currently 17 seconds off the race lead, just hoping to get through and get some points, it would seem. Josh Conover has opened up the gap by about 2/3 of a second as Kinder seems to have a really straight corner there. Gains about 1/10 of a second as Conover gets super sideways there. These guys, they want to try to keep that wheel as straight as possible. The less input, the less you have to fight the car, the more momentum you're going to be able to keep. Conover runs up onto the back of the 24. Terry Atwood has to change up his line a bit. Runs down to the middle to the bottom of the racetrack. Garrett Kinder is able to adjust a little bit sooner in the corner and is able to get a little bit closer. He dives it in deep. Due to the earlier entry there with the lap car up on his outside, that hurts his entry, and now it's back up to just over half a second in Josh Conover's favor. Conover gets right up next to the wall there. He's going to come back up off of the track, has to straighten it all the way out. That's going to hurt his momentum as it's now 1/3 of a second. Less than 3/10 coming up off of turn 4. Conover holds the race lead, coming to 5 laps to go next time around, but Garrett Kinder super sideways there in turn 2. He can't quite get it onto the power coming up off of the corner enough to be able to make that move coming up on Josh Conover. We've got 5 laps to go this time, and Conover seems to be able to work it now. He's up to about 9/10 of a second. Almost a full second now over Garrett Kinder in second. Kinder pushes hard, gets up into the wall just a little bit. That's not going to hurt the car too much. Allows him to close down by about a 10th here on Josh Conover, coming to 4 laps to go. Kinder with a bit of a slide getting into the corner there. He's going to lose a bit more time. Now it's 1.3. Josh Conover in favor. Tell you what, this guy is putting on an absolute masterclass. Showing these guys how to get it done on the dirt. Gets up into the wall just a little bit there. He's got about 2 seconds of a lead over Garrett Kinder in second place. Gonna be 2 laps to go for Josh Conover this time by. The self-proclaimed dirt ringer. He was excited when he found out that this was Bristol dirt. Not the regular show that we're used to seeing in the fall. 1 lap to go in heat race number 1 for Josh Conover. He's working that bottom to middle now, but I want to just bring one thing to attention. How many of these cars are sliding up coming out of these corners? Look at these guys over half a lap down to this masterclass Josh Conover. Checkered flag in the air for heat race number 1. Josh Conover gets it done. He's going to start on the pole for Bristol Dirt in the Midday Racing League. So it goes Conover, Kinder, Papa, McFadden, Sisler, Helms, and Atwood rounding out heat race number 1. Now we've got the second one here. We'll go ahead and show you the grid. Nick Gillis starts in the first place. Then we got Kyle Westwood, who we just talked to, Nick Atwood, Rooster Rodden, Dave Hunt, Christian Ruse, and Matt Metler rounding out the field here. So first what we're going to do is go ahead and bring in last week's winner, Rick Helms. Rick, it's Liam up in the booth. You got me? That might just be a couple minutes here before we get Rick available to talk to us, but we got 20 laps here. Nick Gillis gonna lead us down. Hey, Rick Helms, it's Liam up in the booth. You got a copy? We'll try to jump back in with him in just a few moments here. Nick G gonna lead him down. Kyle Westwood to his outside, rocking that Kodak film Toyota Camry. A little bit different than we're used to seeing those blue colors on the 84 machine. Rooster Rodden, top side in the Cobra Jet. And Nick Atwood in the 23 Hooters machine. Pace car makes that hard left turn. It's in the hands of Nick. The other road or dirt track ringer we've got here. Here comes Kyle Westwood up on the top side. Both guys obviously spinning tires here on the dirt. There's a little bit of contact up front. Up the track goes Nick. Down the track goes Kyle. These guys side by side coming up off of turn number 2. Big sideways moment there for Rooster Rodden there coming up off of 2. Here comes Nick Gillis up on the top side. He's going to have the advantage with the wider line. He's going to have him cleared coming up off of turn number 4 to lead lap number 1. A little bit further back, Rooster Rodden works the inside of Dave Hunt. Hunt goes right up next to the wall, and there's going to be a little bit more grip up there as you get right up next to that cushion, maybe even a little bit more banking, and you can already see the slick stuff starting to line up in the entry to these corners. That's going to make it tougher for these drivers as they get later on into the night. We'll have a bit of a farm between these heat races. Oh, Christian Ruse sideways into the pits. That's a tough break there for that number 14 machine. Nick Gillis continues to lead over the 84 Kyle Westwood. I tell you what, we have seen Nick. I mean, so far he's looking so good. We've seen Josh Conover also. Just as I say that, Nick comes up off the corner, and Kyle Westwood gets a huge run. Westwood all the way to the back bumper. Nick gets up next to the wall. He's stuck on the wall. Here comes Kyle Westwood down to the bottom. Can Gillis recover? He's got a long time to do it. Just over 15 laps to go. He's back up into the fence. He's got himself a second and a half between him and Kyle Westwood now. Can he chase him back down? Nick Atwood trying to get down to the inside of Dave Hunt. Atwood sideways coming up off of the corner. He's going to keep that thing straight. Lose some time to Dave Hunt right up in front of him, but he's able to continue on. Ticker's working a little bit better with us now. Christian Ruse, you saw on the inside. He's going to go a lap down and then some. Going to start at the back end of this field as we have 14 laps to go. Race for the lead, less than 1 second now as Kyle Westwood might be running into that conundrum where it's easier to chase than it is to lead. So you see just how sideways that 84 is getting all the way down the racetrack, and you know that's going to hurt the momentum. You can see the 5 car getting closer and closer. Here comes that 5 car in Kyle Larson fashion, just running anywhere he pleases on the racetrack. He's got to slide up off of the corner, and we're going to see that a lot. Not a lot of guys going to be able to hold on to the bottom late on into this race. That 5 machine is running strong there on the top side. If he can keep it out of the wall, he might have himself a chance. 12 laps to go across the line here at Bristol. Look at how much that 5 car slides up out of the groove. Or not out of the groove necessarily, but out of the bottom line up near to that cushion. We're going to see everybody doing that at the midpoint of the corner. It's good. Oh, we got a crash. Matt Metler and Christian Ruse have gone around. No caution has come out for that. Let's try to take a quick look to see what happened. Christian Ruse has jumped to the pits. These guys running hard here in the middle. Oh, contact between Hunt, Atwood, and Metler tries to get down to the bottom, gets onto that apron, just turns it around. That apron is so tough. Now he's going to drive it away, and does Ruse have nowhere to go? Oh, Ruse, nowhere to go for him. He got up into the wall trying to avoid Matt Metler. Back live, we've got a change for the lead. Not quite, but Gillis is there looking down to the bottom. There he goes, trying to pull off that slider all the way down to the inside. Going to slide up the racetrack, but Westwood super strong up on the top side. Now coming up on the lap car of Dave Hunt. Hunt points it up towards the top, back down to the bottom. He's going to stay down to the bottom and stay out of these leaders' way. Kyle Westwood gets up into the wall. So is Nick Gillis. Both drivers up into the wall. Westwood can't get it off. And now Gillis almost into the back bumper of Westwood. Going to pull off a huge slider going down into the corner. Westwood tries to recover. Tries to cut it down to the bottom. He's going to have a bit of momentum, but not quite enough. Now they're coming up on the 23 Atwood. The 5 has to go in deep. The 5 spins. Nick Gillis spins it out, and so does Dave Hunt right behind him. 7 laps to go, still no caution. Everybody's able to get away, but Kyle Westwood now holds on to a 5.5 second lead, coming to 6 laps to go. Gonna go ahead and try to talk to Rick one more time. Rick Helms, it's Liam up in the booth. You got a copy?
I'm here.
Awesome stuff, man. We're seeing some great racing in heat race number 2. You saw some good stuff out the windshield of heat race number 1. You want to talk us through, well, first, that heat race?
Well, I mostly saw the other cars driving away from me. I'm real good on a tacky track, but when it starts to slick up, I start to have a little bit of a problem. So I kind of just washed them away. This is the kind of race that I'm going to pretty much just call it kind of like Darlington. I'm going to be racing the track all day and just avoiding the other cars, and we'll just see where it ends up.
Yes, sir. But you got the job done at Richmond last week in pretty dominating fashion. We talked to Kyle Westwood a little bit earlier on as he now sits in the lead of this heat race. We talked to him earlier on, and he thanked you for kind of helping him out throughout the course of that short track week at Richmond. So, first off, congratulations for the win. Congrats on having drivers, thanking you for learning from you and not giving up all that information. But what helped you get the job done last week?
Well, it's it was mostly a deal with Kyle and me where, I in that last stretch after the last pit stop, somehow I managed to pick up about a second on him, so he came out about 2.9 seconds, 3.9 seconds back, but I could see him coming. I was watching him on the relative, and I just knew, that he was going to burn up his tires doing it, and so I just kind of started running 3/4. I was backing off about 100 feet earlier and just trying to, save fuel and save tires. And I figured once he got by me, it'd be about 20 laps to go. And I turned it loose with 10 and I'd be able to catch back up with him. And for once, the plan worked.
Definitely worked out well. Real quick here, we got Kyle Westwood coming up off of turn number 4 to take away heat race number 2. It's going to be Kyle Westwood, Gillis, Rodden, Atwood, Dave Hunt, Metler, Christian Ruse. And we appreciate you joining us up in the booth here, Rick. Is there anybody you want to thank for such a strong performance? And, of course, we'll definitely ask again if we see you up on the podium. But
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean,
week.
all the guys that drive in this league, all the drivers in this league, and all the people who run it, and Chris and all those people, Christian and Rooster and all those that run this league are just top notch. And Evan, and I really, really do appreciate all the work they do to give us a place to race here each week during the day.
Yeah, Rick, we appreciate the heck out of you joining us up in here. We'll let you get back into the practice room for the warm-up. Thank you once again, and best of luck here tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Rick Helms, fantastic drive last week at Richmond. Unfortunately, we weren't able to pick that one up. Was able to tune in for the last couple of laps, though, and he was smoking the field. Little bit of a warm-up here, a couple minutes before we get ready to rock and rumble. Let's see if we can pull any drivers up into the chat. Still waiting on Brewster Rodden's availability for his podium interview from last week. Oh, here's a good call. Matt, we're stealing you. Bringing you up into the SRM booth, a very familiar place for you. We've got about a minute. What do you think is going to happen here tonight, or today, rather, at the dirt track?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm the right guy to be talking to right now. Never drove dirt in my life. This is my first time. And I can tell you it is stupid crazy. Oh, my God. Other than that, my mind is kind of just blowing right now because I haven't sawed the wheel this much ever in my life trying to figure out how to keep the car straight. But the more I do this, the more it's not about keeping the car straight, it seems. And I'm holding on for dear life right now. How's it look up there for you?
Hey, I tell you what, it looks a hell of a lot better up here than it probably does from your angle. But these cars are wildly sideways. It's a lot more sideways than I'm used to seeing these next-gen cars. And, I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's also quite terrifying down here in the car. But we'll try to make it work here and have a good broadcast up there, brother.
Yeah. Absolutely. It looks like, yeah, you're getting ready to grid now, so we'll cut this short. We appreciate you joining us up in the booth. But before we let you go, you think that anybody's going to be able to hold the bottom coming out of the corner?
It seems like the 20 there and the 84 have been the class of the field, and I haven't seen them really be able to hold the bottom. It just seems like if you want the car to rotate in a controlled slide, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if that's the right term. It seems like the top's the way to go.
Rock on, Matt. We appreciate you joining us up in the booth. And, yeah, best of luck tonight. Hopefully we talk to you at the podium.
Anything I do here is
Well,
Oh, man, I cut him off there. I didn't mean to do that. But let's get ready with your starting line up here today for the Bristol Dirt Race. The graphics, they don't play well with the heat races. So Apologies for that. Kyle Westwood won heat race number 2. Josh Conover won his heat race. Conover's gonna start on the pole. Looks like the grid wants to show up now. So we got Conover, Westwood, Kinder, Gillis, Papa, Rooster Rodden, Cody McFadden, Nick Atwood, Matt Sisler, and Dave Hunt rounding out your top 10. Back a little bit further, Rick Helms, Matt Metler, Terry Atwood, and Christian Ruse rounding out the field here today at Bristol. Bristol Dirt. Going to be 100 laps here in the feature. It's going to be a fantastic show. You guys won't want to miss it. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in live here on Sim Racing Media. Go ahead and drop your favorite driver in the chat, who you want to see, who you want to see on the screen, who you want to hear talked about. We'll make sure that gets done as these guys get ready to rock and rumble for 100 laps here on the dirt. This track's going to slick up. This track's going to get tough on these drivers. That pace truck is about ready to make that hard left turn once again onto pit road for the first time here today in the feature. 13 cars on the field. Rooster Rodden unable to get her started. Green flag is in the air. Josh Conover leads him down into 1. Kyle Westwood up on top, and Garrett Kinder moves it in deep down to try to take away second place. Westwood gonna stay strong on that top side, but Josh Conover gets away with the win, or lead rather. It's way too early for the win. Garrett Kinder is to relinquish second place. Kyle Westwood holds on to it. Nick Gillis sits in 4th just behind Kinder. Westwood got super sideways there. Gillis and Conover were kind of the dirt track ringers. I keep wanting to say road ringers, because that's what you're used to hearing in terms of ringers. The dirt tracks are not common with NASCAR, but happen just enough. And I tell you what, these guys having a blast. Chris Papa gets up into the fence. Nick Gillis just in front of him holds it onto the fence. Kyle Westwood trying to get all over the back bumper of Conover. Didn't have a great entry up into 3, but about a half a second off. Conover is virtually flawless, though. He hasn't put a foot wrong all day so far. Dave Hunt trying to work over Matt Sisler right now. This is a battle for 7th place. 5 laps into the show. Up into the wall. That was Nick Atwood slapping the wall there coming up off of turn 2. That allows Christian Ruse to get by him for a top 10 spot. Sisler still trying to keep Dave Hunt behind him, and that's going to be a tough task. Not a lot of these guys are used to running dirt. And then we've got Rick Helms catching up to this battle. Talked to him before the race, talking about this is going to be more racing the racetrack than anything else. He's got 2 guys right up in front of him racing hard. This might be a tough spot to race the racetrack. You might have to try to find the fastest way around these 2 as they make contact. Into the wall goes Sisler. Dave Hunt sideways. And Sisler's getting super sideways coming up off of 2. Wow, that was a huge moment there to watch from the front end of Rick Helms. Super close there to the back bumper of Sisler, but Sisler able to keep it straight, keep it down up off of the corner. Now slides all the way up into the wall, trying to use up all the racetrack he can, get the best angle into the corner. Took a little bit too much there, slapped the wall, but it seems to be working out for him as now, well, now he's got loose coming up off the corner. Rick Helms gets around him. Nick Atwood has crashed. And that's going to bring out our first caution of the night. Oh, comes up right up in front of Kinder. Kinder able to keep it up top, get away from it. But that's going to bring the caution out for the first time here. Let's go ahead and take a look to see what happened here to Nick Atwood coming up off of the corner. Oh, man, we got 4 cars all up under a blanket there, and that's what got the 23 turned around. Let's try to pull it back a little bit further. Atwood up in front of all these guys. There's Matt Metler getting down on the bottom, trying to pull a bit of a slider, and yeah, that 23 just gets sideways up in front of all these cars. Nowhere to go. Contact is made. 23 gets turned around, but it doesn't seem like major damage. Hopefully, he doesn't get a pit penalty for falling into the pits there. But that brings out the caution for the first time here tonight after 2 heat races and 10 laps of green flag racing in the feature. First caution in the Midday Racing League Dirt Bristol event happens after 50 laps of green flag competition. Can't imagine we're going to see a lot of guys coming into pit at all in this race. Track position is going to be so much more important than tires will be. As you see the 24 getting a lap back early. Rooster Rodden was able to get onto the racetrack. He did start from the pit lane. He sits in 11th place. Still unable to get him in for a interview, but it's a little bit late for that. It's all right. So Josh Conover leads the race after 11 laps. Kyle Westwood sits a strong second. Garrett Kinder and Nick Galis, those guys haven't really changed position from where they finished in their heats. Chris Papa, Cody McFadden, Matt Sisler, Rick Helms, Matt Metler, and Christian Ruse rounding out the top 10. Then we've got Rooster Rodden and Terry Atwood. 1 lap down is Dave Hunt, and Nick Atwood still sits on the pits, unsure if he is going to be able to continue. We remain under caution here. Might be some sort of extra debris that these guys have to clear up. Look at a lot of these guys trying to work in the top side under caution here. Just pack down some of that dirt. Nick Atwood has returned to the racetrack. We'd love to see it. Should be getting 1 to green this time around. Everybody looks to be doubling up. The 20 car wants the outside. It's going to put Kyle Westwood on his inside. Garrett Kinder stays on the inside in third. Nick Gillis might have the preferred line up top, but wasn't able to get the start that he wanted that last time around. So we'll see. These guys getting a little bit of distance here between that Toyota Tundra pace truck. The only iRacing pace car machine that's got the durability to handle this dirt track. I don't know if that's for sure. The iRacing sedan seems pretty cool, but the pace truck's going to make the hard left turn. Josh Conover is going to lead him down coming out of turn number 4. Green flag in the air. Conover hard on the gas. Gillis also with a super strong restart. Seemed like Westwood might have missed it. Kinder was all over his back bumper, though, and that's going to put Nick Gillis into second. Conover gets sideways coming up off the corner. Gillis almost hits him, so that's going to give Westwood the inside advantage as Gillis hit the wall. And Westwood pull off this slider. Gillis sideways coming up off the corner. A little bit of contact with Garrett Kinder. Kinder has to check up. Chris Papa has to check up in a chain reaction event from there. Rick Helms has crashed. He's around down the front straightaway. The caution has come out once again for the second time here tonight. See what happened here racing with Rooster Rodden up in front of him. The iBuy power machine. Yup, Helms just got sideways. Kind of overcorrected there to try to keep it down after coming back up the track. And another situation where Christian Ruse had nowhere to go. He had himself a very eventful heat race. Now finds himself in early trouble here at the in the feature here. Bristol Dirt. Josh Conover continues to lead over Kyle Westwood. Nick Gillis is taken away third from Garrett Kinder. Chris Papa up in the top 5. Matt Sisler trying to work his way up as well after going 2 for 2 at the beginning of the year. Cody McFadden. Rooster Rodden's into the pits along with Matt Metler. These guys probably getting some damage checked out. Maybe tires, but Mettler a little bit too far in the box there. Mettler's taking tires. Rodden as well, 4 tires. Well, we sit on board with Josh Conover right now. He holds on to the race lead. He's led every single lap. Looking back to Kyle Westwood, who won his heat race after a heavy battle, a huge battle there with the 5 car. Once again, you see these guys running all the way right up next to the wall. Trying to pack down a little bit more dirt. They know they're going to kick a bunch up there, but try to help pack it down under these cautions to help them get a little bit more grip. Easier to do with these stock cars than it is, say, a winged sprint. You know, these things have 3,500 pounds of weight on them. Conover right on the wall, virtually riding it. When I say that, I don't mean the fact that it's a sim racing game. It's a about a foot off the wall that the 20 car is running under caution here. Once again, we appreciate everybody who's tuning in here live on Sim Racing Media. Go ahead and drop your favorite driver in the chat. Let us know who you want to see, and if you're new here, drop a like, hit us with a subscribe so you never miss a race. We've got fantastic racing 7 nights a week. A little bit different with Easter this weekend. A couple of leagues are taking the week off for the weekend, for the holiday. Got 1 to green this time, and it looks like the 20 is now choosing the inside. Changing it up just a little bit here for Josh Conover. Conover, Westwood, Gillis, Kinder, Papa, Sisler. Rick Helms has gotten himself back up into the top 10 after that spin. Those cars coming into the pits. 20 laps down, 80 to go. Going to be 79 as they take the green. Josh Conover likely won't wait long. In the box, on the gas. Green flag is out. Conover, a strong run, and Kyle Westwood going to try to work that top side. Gets up into the wall. Gillis down to the inside of Conover. Gillis makes contact with Conover. Gets loose there coming up off of the corner. Chris Papa works his way into second place after all that calamity. Kyle Westwood, Garrett Kinder lose a spot apiece. Well, Westwood actually stays even there. Here comes Chris Papa down to the inside of Conover. Kyle Westwood trying to work the outside. Papa down to the inside here. He's going to take the race lead as Conover gets sideways. Chris Papa, your new race leader, 23 laps into the event. Can Conover make a run up on the top side, though? Papa closes up that door, and now he's under fire from Kyle Westwood. Conover really struggling now in dirty air, and the caution has come out. Dave Hunt has gone around with Christian Ruse, and the tough night for Ruse continues on. Caution out, lap 24 here, and a couple of quick yellows here after 50 laps of green flag running. It's definitely going to be a factor when you've got double the cars on the racetrack. Christian Ruse, Dave Hunt bring out the 3rd caution of the race. We're going to see what happened. It looks like the 23 makes contact with the 53, and the 53 comes down the track, collects the 14. Both cars nose it into the fence. Doesn't seem like major damage on either one. Christian Ruse has a little bit of front end damage from an earlier impact, but I don't think that's hurting the car either. Josh Conover into the pits. Not a live shot, but we'll get you one. Conover's come into the pits. Not sure if he had some sort of issue, maybe a flat tire or a tire going down or something like that to slow him down, but he's coming in. See if he takes, yeah, he's coming in taking right sides at least. Rick Helms also into the pits. Nick Gillis has come in. Cody McFadden, Christian Ruse. So Chris Papa's going to hold on to the race lead. This might be some strategery going on. They might not be able to make it to the end. Be interesting to see, especially with these cautions coming out. You use up a lot less engine, a lot less revs during these yellow flags, able to save a lot more gas, especially when you're matted to the floor, trying to get some traction with these dirt tires. So it's Chris Papa, Garrett Kinder running up down to the inside. Looks like he might be coming down to make a pit stop. See what his plan is here. He's running low, but doesn't look like low enough to pit. Stays out. Nick Gillis comes back down into the pits. He's got some right side damage. We saw him get up into the wall a couple times. Might be trying to get a little bit more of that fixed. Slides into the box a little bit too hard. These tires have a lot less grip than these normal racing slicks that the drivers are used to, especially when it comes to the concrete and the asphalt with a bit of dirt on it. These guys are used to having a regular contact patch, and these dirt tires are grooved. They're the best way to explain it is they're almost grooved like a waffle. You know, they're gridded. They're, you know, designed to kick the dirt out, get traction, whereas the slick tires just are designed to have the biggest contact patch, the biggest grip spot to propel them forward. But we might see a little bit more of that, especially if we get a hefty group of cars up on the pit lane. Looks like the lights are out on the pace truck once again. Chris Papa elects to take the outside. Kyle Westwood will build to his inside. Garrett Kinder, Rooster Rodden sits on the bottom. Terry Atwood's going to jump up to the top side. So with the choose rule is in effect for this league, which is especially fun for the dirt racing. It's going to put the 24 of Terry Atwood in 4th place after working through the back. Chris Papa hard on the gas. Kyle Westwood, Garrett Kinder follow him in the suit. Terry Atwood, a slow restart there. Continues on in 4th. Dave Hunt, Rooster Rodden all over his back bumper. And you see that 20 machine not too far back. Up into the wall goes the 24. Everybody behind him's got to check up a little bit. Still into the wall is the 24. Dave Hunt in the middle. There's Josh Conover going to the bottom with a power move. Hard into the wall goes the 24. Terry Atwood's around. The caution's out once again. Might not have been as hard as I thought it was on concrete Bristol. That would have been a huge impact, but Terry Atwood doesn't seem to have a whole heck of a lot of damage to the front end. See what happens here. He's stuck on the wall, gasses it up, and that does not help anything. Turns it back to the wall, gets sideways up on that loose stuff. A little bit of contact with Dave Hunt. That puts the nose up into the fence for the 24 machine. Rick Helms might have been touched by that one as well. Dave Hunt seems to be the only taker on pit road. Once again, want to thank everybody for tuning in here for the Midday Racing League Bristol Dirt Race. 33 laps into this thing. 4th caution of the race. Ran both heat races caution-free. Ran the first 10 laps of this one caution-free, and it's been some very hard racing all throughout the night, all throughout the day, rather. These guys putting on a heck of a show. If you're new to the channel, would appreciate if you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a race. We got fantastic racing 7 nights a week. Some nights we've got multiple races, and I think Tuesday nights, we've got 5 different races, 5 different leagues that you could tune into. So if you don't get your racing fix on Sunday, make sure you tune in to Sim Racing Media every other day of the week. And hey, even after the races on Sunday. Chris Papa leads the race right now. Garrett Kinder to his inside. Lights still on the pace truck, but we expect them to go off pretty quick here. Go ahead and drop a like if you like what you're seeing, and also let us know who your favorite driver is. Go ahead and get them some screen time. We'll talk about them. Otherwise, we'll just kind of do our best to work our way through the whole field. Chris Papa, Garrett Kinder, Kyle Westwood. Westwood won his heat race. Rooster Rodden started from the pit lane. Didn't know if he was going to be able to make the race, but got her done. He was a podium finisher last week, hoping to be the same again this week. Josh Conover. Saw him make a phenomenal move down to the inside just before that last caution happened. Sits in 5th place, hoping to work his way back up to the front. Hoping these guys in front of him maybe have to make a pit stop. Cody McFadden sits right behind him in the iBuyPower Chevy Camaro. Number 64. I believe my PC is iBuyPower, or my last one was. I'm not sure, but, you know, they throw together good PCs. So that's pretty cool. Matt Metler sitting in that Mopar Dodge Dealers. That's pretty common for him. He loves to rock the Mopar schemes. Nick Gillis trying to make a recovery after finishing 2nd in his heat race. Going a little bit south here so far in the race, sitting in 9th. And then Christian Ruse also, his race has gone south, sitting in 10th. Trying to, both these guys in row number 5, trying to have a strong recovery, work their way back up to the front. You know they're both capable of it. There's a lot to happen here in 64 laps at Bristol. Pace car makes that hard left turn. Chris Papa is going to be in control onto the gas, and he is on it. Green flag is out, and he gets a nice run on Garrett Kinder. Kinder's going to be 3-4 car lengths away by the time they hit turn 1. Josh Conover to the inside of Rodden. Rodden hard into the, or not hard into the wall, but into the wall significantly. That time he's pretty hard up into the wall. He's going to lose a lot of positions here, all the way outside of the top 10 here. Is once again super sideways. That car is not handling the way he wants it to. Garrett Kinder is able to get around Chris Papa for the race lead. Papa super sideways there, coming up off of turn number 2. Going to try to get that momentum as he comes down the racetrack. Stays about 3 car lengths up off of the race lead. Kinder rocking a bit of a bottom side entry, still sliding up the racetrack, but still low enough to stay out of that slick stuff. Josh Conover sits in 3rd place, 2.5 seconds up off of the race lead. A little bit quicker than your race leader, but not by much. Actually, last time around, Kinder was the quickest car by about half a second over Chris Papa. Papa was a little bit quicker than Conover. McFadden sits in 4th place, trying to recover. And speaking of recoveries there, here's Nick Gillis getting around Kyle Westwood to take a top 5 spot away. Kinder holds on to the race lead. So you see these guys. Here's Kinder getting around Dave Hunt, the lap machine. Rooster Rodden here racing with Matt Sitzler. It's a battle in the top 10 for 7th place, or for 8th place rather. Matt Metler up in front of these guys in 7th. Kyle Westwood tried to chase Nick Gillis back down. About a car length up off of that 5 machine, going through turns 3 and 4. Garrett Kinder has opened up the gap over Chris Papa by 2.5 seconds. Josh Conover sits a second behind Papa. Papa hard up into the wall, though, and that's going to allow Josh Conover to get right up behind him. He pointed it up top and almost got into the back bumper of the 1 car. Papa with a strong run up top, though. You can almost see 2 separate cushions forming as some of these guys are able to completely work that bottom side. First Papa working that top side, gets super loose, and now put Josh Conover back in 2nd place. He's got a 3.6 second gap to overcome, though. 55 laps to get her done. Garrett Kinder in the race lead. We look out the back bumper of his car. Nothing to see right now, but there is that 20 machine who has been unbelievably quick all night. Now that 13 working through some lap traffic involving Matt Metler And there's the 23. Hard up into the inside wall. The caution's going to come out for Nick Atwood. He hit the tire barrier a ton, immediately took the tow. Still brings out the caution here, and that's a huge hit to take here in these next-gen cars. Coming up off the corner, got super sideways, and yeah, just... those front two barrels must be filled with concrete or something, because they did not give, they did not move. And I know it's a sim, you know, it's not going to throw out the water or sand or anything, but you would figure there'd be at least a bit more give. Or maybe a getting stuck moment, but was not the case. Kyle Westwood's going to come down into the pits. These guys have the tires. I believe 3 sets or 4 sets. Not entirely sure how much tires are going to matter here on the dirt, but tell you what, as the track slicks up, these tires will build up a lot more heat. There's that 20 machine working the top side in once again. We're going to go ahead and step away for just a few moments here, but we'll be right back for the restart. Appreciate you tuning in live here on Sim Racing Media. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Yeah, my microphone has not been on this whole time. So, apologies there. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in live here on Sim Racing Media. We've got 16 laps to go. We've had absolutely phenomenal action happening throughout the course of this race, and 16 laps. That's going to be a tough task for Garrett Kinder, who's continued to lead on all of these restarts. Josh Conover back up into second place after making numerous pit stops. Garrett Kinder, however, has not made a pit stop since the drop of the green flag. These guys rocking 75% fuel. They've got 5 tire sets in the pits, so tires will not be a factor here. Garrett Kinder, he's put on a heck of a show here. Josh Conover, the dirt ringer here, sitting in second place. Chris Papa, he's been strong on these restarts and strong up on the top side. Nick Gielis as well, another dirt ringer. Looks like we're getting the 1 to green here. We're going to choose. Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. It's funny because I saw Johnny say you get tired of calling the race, and I thought he was making a joke about the length of it. No, I changed the microphone settings and didn't change them back, so I apologize about that. And we'll get you back live here for 13 laps of phenomenal action here in the Midday Racing League. Thank you once again for tuning in. Garrett Kinder on the top side. Green flag is out. Nick Gielis strong on the restart as well, but Josh Conover a little bit stronger. Looks like he's going to be able to take over second place. Gielis strong or hard on the outside there. Look at Chris Papa getting down into the corner. Nick Gielis of the 5 car, unable to get up to the top side of Garrett Kinder. Or rather, of Josh Conover. Garrett Kinder holds on to the race lead, and wall riding right there is Josh Conover. He ran that whole corner up on the wall there. Definitely not intentional. There's Chris Papa doing almost the same thing. It's so tough to keep these cars down on the bottom, especially when you see how slicked out this track is. All that shiny stuff, that is not grip. That is not where you want to be. That's going to send your car super sideways. Be tough on you. Nick Gielis up into the top side. He's going to get it off of the wall. Lose a little bit of momentum to Josh Conover down the back straightaway. Trying to close it down. Tail slaps the wall just a little bit. Now he's super sideways. Keeps her straight, but that's going to give Chris Papa the chance to get around him for third place. Put Papa up into third. There's 10 laps to go for Garrett Kinder. Kinder struggling on these tires. Josh Conover as well struggling on the racetrack. Cody McFadden has had himself a problem, and the caution has come out once again here. I tell you what, less than 10 to go here on this restart. This is about to get wild. See what happened here to McFadden and Zach. I'm glad I'm here for the end too. Oh man. It was tough to describe what I was talking about earlier when the Atwood car hit the wall, or hit the tire barrier. But this tire barrier didn't have those concrete things, and this car did not stop when he hit. Cody McFadden, we'll see once again. Sideways, comes down the track, tries to keep her straight, tries to correct it, hits that tire barrier. It'll probably do it for Cody McFadden. Might be able to get out, get a couple of spots if some more attrition takes place, but once again, we appreciate everybody tuning in here live on Sim Racing Media. Go ahead and smash a like button. Smash it like your Ross Chastain with the watermelon. And hit that subscribe as well. Couple of leagues taking Easter weekend off, but we've got fantastic racing 7 nights a week. Tuesday has 5 different shows, 5 different leagues going on, so we've definitely got something that should tickle your fancy there. Speaking of 7, we've got 7 laps to go. We've got it'll be 6 to go at the line. We'll see what these drivers decide in terms of the choose. Looks like Kinder has made his call already. Lights out on the pace truck. Kinder up on top, Conover down on the bottom. Chris Papa down on the inside of row number 2. Nick Gillis up to his top side. Might be Gillis. If it's Gillis, I'm sorry. But that Hendrick Cars 5 machine has been super strong all race. I tell you what, the 20 and the 5 probably take the record for the most cars passed. Green flag coming out with 5 laps to go. Garrett Kinder with Josh Conover all up on his inside. Green flag back in the air. Strong restart for Kinder. Conover not too far back though. 2 car lengths. Three separates them, getting down into 1. Side by side for 3rd place as Papa tries to work to the inside. Terry Atwood is around. No caution yet. 5 to go. Garrett Kinder works the bottom side. The 20 is wall riding. That gives him no help coming up off of the corner. 3-4 car lengths separate them now. Chris Papa not too far back in 3rd place. 4 laps to go for Garrett Kinder as Chris Papa is now all over the back bumper and the caution has come out once again. Matt Sisler has crashed. We're going to set up for overtime here. We'll take a look to see what happened to Matt Sisler. We'll also look back at the Terry Atwood spin. Once again, want to apologize for the microphone issues that we had. Oh, Sisler tried to pull a slider on Rick Helms and did not quite have him cleared. Want to apologize for the lack of commentary on my end. A little bit of a technical issue there. Appreciate everybody who's still tuning in. See what happened to Terry Atwood here as well. Oh, he got into Christian. Christian Roos just having the worst of days, but still sitting 7th place. Now we're getting ready for NASCAR overtime. And of course, if you don't know the rules, we've got 2 laps to do it. If the caution comes out before the first lap is completed, before they take the white flag, they rack it up again. If they take the white flag, no cautions, no nothing. They race it out. Lights are out on the pace car. Garrett Kinder. And I've said multiple times, this is the toughest restart of Garrett Kinder's day, but this is absolutely going to be the toughest one. Garrett Kinder on the outside, Josh Conover on the inside, Nick Gillis, Chris Papa. He's got 3 guys who have been super strong, super able to pass cars, just super all day. We've got the pace truck turning left, green flag back in the air, Garrett Kinder hard on the throttle. Josh Conover this time is only 1 car length back as they get down into turn 1. Nick Gillis up to the top side. Chris Papa, Rooster Rodden up into the wall. These guys are hard into the wall. That's not going to bring out the caution yet. Garrett Kinder with Josh Conover up on the top side. Conover, strong run up on the top. Gillis and Papa get together for 2nd or 3rd, rather. They're spinning down the front straightaway. The white flag is out. Garrett Kinder has Josh Conover going up to the top side. Conover trying to get the run up on the top. Garrett Kinder, is he going to be clear to block him? Conover down to the bottom. Kinder down to block. Conover gets in and around goes Kinder. He's going to be able to get down in front of Conover. Chris Papa gets sideways. Conover gets into him. Conover goes around. Garrett Kinder wins the race. Nick Gillis finishes second. Josh Conover finishes backwards in third. Christian Ruse comes home with a fourth place. Terry Atwood finishes fifth. We have a lot to unpack there. Oh my goodness. Start up front. We got Rooster Rodden gets up together with Rick Helms there. Both those guys get turned up into the wall and virtually stopped. Gillis rocking the top side over Papa. This is where it all happens, though. Conover working the absolute top of the racetrack, unable to keep that momentum, tries to cut him down to the bottom side, and Kinder rocks a different line. They get the apron. Conover has nowhere to go but to try to push that guy, or push the 13 through. Conover gets turned around sideways. Nick Gillis takes second. Conover backwards across the line takes third, and Christian Ruse gets away in fourth. Wow! That was insane. We're going to go ahead and just start with your race winner, Garrett Kinder. Man, I am speechless at what just happened. Do you have more words than I do?
Man, I don't really know what that 3 and 4 was, but it wasn't good. I can tell you that much. That was pretty bad. Oh man, it worked out though. Man, that was kind of crazy. Ran a good race up until that point.
Yeah, you had a phenomenal race. It looked like on that last lap, it seemed like he had the strong run up on the top side in 2, and then you were able to pull the block. He had a bit of a moment there, and you were able to pull the block, and when you saw him go down low, you were right on it. You were able to repeat the move, and it just kind of all happened from there. Waka's, you kind of did, but that green-white checker, man, he had a lot of tough restarts, but was that the toughest?
Oh yeah, he absolutely just did a phenomenal job through 3 and 4 on that one, and basically got right to my bumper, taking the white flag, coming into 1 and 2, and I knew it was gonna be a fight. You saw how fast he was out there. He worked from the back to the front, how many stinking times, but so yeah, it made me nervous. Got down there into turn 3, and I guess I just hung that left front a little bit too much on the apron, and just way over rotated it. He popped me a couple times, got me straightened back out, and we were side by side going to the line, and then I think he got in my door again and ended up kicking him sideways. But man, just crazy. I think this is one of the first dirt races and in the stock cars that I've won. I normally lose them on heartbreakers on the last lap, so luckily this one went my way.
Definitely a phenomenal job by you. Did you have any inklings that you wanted to pit at all throughout the race? You were the only driver who didn't make a pit stop.
No, I knew, there's some differences when it comes with weight and fuel and having more weight back there in your fuel cell, but I didn't want to give up track position. I knew that a lot of the cautions were happening towards the back of the pack, middle of the pack, and I didn't want to subject myself to that. And once we had enough cautions and I knew I could make it on fuel, I wasn't worried about it anymore. I knew I was going to stay out the whole time.
Well, awesome stuff, man. You put on a phenomenal show here today. You took the lead just before halfway, and you didn't give it up. Is there anybody you want to thank for such a strong run here today?
Yeah, I want to thank all the guys over here in the league, of course, Midday Racing League. It's a pretty cool little group of guys over here having a good time with it. So big shout out to them. Kinder Farm and Ranch, Ratchet Speed Shop, big supporters, and just always on my side, shooting me text messages, telling me good job. Big Frig and Cross 5 cattle coolers. If you want to keep your stuff hot and keep your stuff cold for cheaper and longer than anybody else, make sure you check out Big Frig and Cross 5 cattle coolers at bigfrig.com. Ray Page over at Wolfpack Racing, good guy to know. All the guys over here at Midday Racing League again, and all the teams I'm part of through various different leagues. Lost in Motorsports and Superior Performance Motorsports, short tracking into things. And it's a good time. Thank you up in the booth. Look forward to go back and watch this one.
Absolutely, man. You put on a clinic today. You put on a good show, and we appreciate you joining us. That's Garrett.
Oh, and
Kinder.
shout out to those two guys in the chat with us as well. They're some good dirt racers. That was fun racing with them.
Yeah. Nick and Josh have joined us up in the up in the booth here and get to talking with them. But hey, I guess everybody's here. We'll just go ahead and keep everybody here. Nick, you come away with second place. Go 1, 2, 3. Nick, you finished second place, and I tell you what, it didn't come easy for you. You came through the pack, maybe not as quite as much as Josh did, but had a lot to overcome. Kind of walk us through your day.
Yeah, just trying to keep fueling it to keep the car kind of planted in the rear, and come through just overdriving it a little bit and not thinking enough, and a little bit of contact here and there, but got it back to where it needed to be at the end. And when everybody started to go wild, I just kept calm and kept driving the car the way it needed to be to get to the finish line, and it results in a second. So
Yeah, you definitely put on a good show. I believe this is the first time I've seen you, though. Are you mainly a dirt guy, or do you plan on sticking around in the midday racing league?
not too often that I'm free on Fridays, so this was kind of one of those free weeks, and I do love dirt. Not the world's greatest at dirt, but had a lot of practice with the cup cars and trucks on dirt, so got used to running stock cars on dirt and really love doing it. So I was like, all right, I'm come run.
Yeah, it definitely looked like you knew what you were doing out there. Super strong run here today. Is there anybody you want to thank for such a strong performance?
Yeah, midday racing as a whole, the admins and everybody for putting on a great show. Everybody in the race for absolutely putting on their best, and Josh for helping me to get to a point where I'm comfortable enough in one of these stock cars to be somewhat competitive.
Awesome stuff. That was Nick. Is it Gillis or Gilis or
Guyless.
Gillis? Man, I've been saying it wrong all night in both ways. So apologize about
It's
that.
all
Nick Gillis, your second place finisher. Which leaves us to third place, Josh Conover, who absolutely has to hold the record for most cars passed tonight. Josh, you were strong on that last lap, unable to get it done. What more do you think it would have taken?
Yeah, a couple more laps. The cushion got treacherous up top, and it took me a lap or two to kind of figure it out. It was actually my first laps in the cup car here. I'm a dirt guy mainly, though, so picked it up quick. It was fun running with Garrett there. And just, like I said, just the top got real treacherous. It took me a little bit to finally figure it out and get my momentum going again.
Yeah, you definitely figured it out quick, taking the heat race win. And I wanted to ask, midway, I mean, plenty of times under caution, we saw you trying to work that top side, maybe pack it down a little bit. Do you, I don't know, is that pretty much what you were doing, just trying to pack it down? Or?
Yeah, I run my own league on Monday and Tuesdays, and we've run the trucks here for the past couple of years, and it's actually worked to the point where if it gets real treacherous like that, you get enough guys like under caution pacing around up there, you can almost not really flatten it, but make it a little less treacherous. So I think it was just me and Nick at one point, but we were trying to make it a little easier for everybody else too, because if it gets treacherous like that, it kind of just flings you off of it, and you can't really run it. And I know there isn't a lot of dirt guys here, really any asphalt league for that matter. So just like I said, just trying to help them out, make it more comfortable for them, and then obviously help myself too, because if it was a little more safe, I probably could have run a little bit harder to go after Garrett, but he ran good. I don't know how he was working the bottom like he was. I guess there was moisture I couldn't find, but he definitely earned that one.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal battle there on that last green white checker between you two. Is there anybody you want to thank or plug for such a strong run? And also, I know you mentioned you had a league, so go ahead and plug that if you guys are recruiting.
Always recruiting, but I'll start with you. I always do the broadcaster first, 'cause I know sometimes it gets a little long in the booth, especially if you don't have somebody with you. So thank you for the broadcast. I'll have to go take a look. Midday, Christian and his guys for having us. I actually started working not that long ago and was missing weeks and actually got laid off recently. So I've been wanting to run more, but saw it was Bristol Dirt this week, so I figured I'd try and come steal one from these guys. But again, Garrett ran a great race, gave me a run for my money in the heat race, and then, like I said, just ran flawless in the features. So couldn't get by him. And then yeah, just my league, the NORA League, National Oval Racing Association, runs Monday and Tuesday nights. I think we've had actually Chris Papa came over and ran our 1987 Daytona 500 we do in January, and I think I talked to Christian about it too, but he was busy or whatever. But no, just like I said, thanks to Christian, his guys, and Nick for coming and running, and just glad to hopefully put on a show for you.
Absolutely. I tell you what, sign me up for that next January Daytona 500. But, Josh, we appreciate you joining us. Garrett, Nick, we also appreciate you guys. We'll go ahead and send you back to the race room. But, yeah, thanks once again for joining us here. And congratulations, all of you on the podium. Garrett, especially on the win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's going to about do it for us here on Sim Racing Media. We'll go ahead and go through your finishing order after a wild one here on the dirt in Bristol. Garrett Kinder gets the job done. That's warm-up results. That's not what we want to look at. Apologies for that. Garrett Kinder gets the job done. Nick Geilis finishes in second. Apologies for butchering the name all night. Josh Conover finishes out in third, backwards across the line. Then we got Christian Ruse, Terry Atwood, Dave Hunt, Chris Papa, Rick Helms, Rooster Rodden, Matt Sisler, Cody McFadden, Matt Metler, Kyle Westwood, and Nick Atwood rounding out the field. Well, it was definitely a wild one here in Bristol. Garrett Kinder got the job done over Nick Gillis and Josh Conover. Conover with a huge battle on the back end of that green-white checker. Tried to make the run down the back straightaway, unable to get to the inside. Contact ensued, kept Garrett Kinder out front. That's going to do it for us here at Sim Racing Media. I'm still trying to piece together what we just witnessed then. That was fantastic action through and through. But I'm Liam Ervig. We'll catch you next time for the Midday Racing League. Thanks once again for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll catch you next time.